All right. Let's talk about side effects. What's going on, guys? Brandon Hayden here. Hope you're having a great day. I thought this would be a great opportunity right now to talk about all things side effects based on my past video, which was breaking down my current anabolic stack and everything I'm going to be taking. I thought this would be a fantastic opportunity to obviously talk about the side effects that come along with that, ones I have experienced in the past and also ones that I am currently experiencing weirdly already. Like, it's only been 7 days and pretty much instantaneously I have noticed an absolutely drastic change. Physically, obviously, that's the main reason for taking anabolics, but also mentally as well. So I think this is going to be a great video to share with anyone that is currently running anabolics that you're friends with, or is a natural athlete right now, but is someone at the gym that's like, you know what, I'm thinking about hopping on, because we all know someone that is in the position of potentially wanting to hop on and take their natty card and go to the dark side and obviously start taking their first ever stack. Most people are privy to great information. Like, everyone seemingly like knows the coach or someone that's on stuff at the gym that would give that person like really good advice. But some people, of course, aren't in that position and will ask the wrong question and receive terrible advice, and they'll receive very, very bad health implications, and physically they might not see the results that they otherwise hoped to receive by taking the best stack or the recommended stack from the person at the gym that seemingly knows everything about steroids but actually knows nothing. I'm going to start off by saying I started taking anabolics when I was 19 years old at the beginning of my first ever bodybuilding competition. So I was 19 and a half and it was my dream to do a competition, and the advice that I received from my first ever coach was, if you do not take anabolics, you're going to lose the show. That was literally the first piece of advice I got. And honestly, like, now I look back, I'm like, well, that was the worst advice to ever give anyone. But at the same time, it put me on the path that I started, which has put me in this position right now speaking to you guys. So I'm not too mad about it. I was already lucky because I knew that I wanted to take competing seriously and that I one day wanted to be an IFBB pro. But if I was somebody else that just wanted to do a show and it's going to be a one-off thing and I didn't need to alter my, like, everything about my genetics just to do a show, because the coach told me to take stuff, otherwise I was going to lose. Someone that just wants to do their first ever show, I genuinely think if you are competing for the first time, now I know more, you should do your first prep or show like naturally. Try do it naturally and just see what you look like, because you'll then learn the biggest piece of information that you need to know. And that's, do I want it? Like, do I actually want to compete? Do I actually want to do this? Because you learn so much about yourself on your first ever diet and your first ever prep, and you'll quickly learn if it would have been worth it to take anabolics or not. And what a shame it would have been, like, if you do a prep and you compete and you hate it and it's something that you wish you never did and it's not for you, but you already took your natty card and you've already completely forever altered your genetics and like your capacity to build muscle. Because I do believe that, like, it's kind of a gray area. Like, if you do one jab of test, like, maybe talk about it in the comments. If you do one jab of test, are you unnatural forever? Or is it just something you, like, maybe you can get away with like one jab? Or is it the case of you're now unnatural forever if you do like a week or a month of a cycle? Like, what's the limitation? I don't know. I don't think I'll ever know, but maybe someone out there does know. Luckily, on my first prep, I learned that I was very serious about competing and I wanted to do it a lot more. So I was very lucky in the respect of the fact that I did my first cycle, it led me on to my next, and then the next, and then the next show, and now I'm 10 shows deep. And last year, after about 5.5 years of competing, actually achieved finally my pro card, which obviously meant I was on the right path and I'm one of the lucky ones. That does not mean I have not experienced my fair share of side effects. All right, guys, really quickly, I just wanted to let you know that in 1 hour from this video going live, the new anime t-shirt, the limited edition drop with Hard Body, goes live on the store at 6 p.m. UK time. We are even dropping a 10-piece anime lever belt sticker pack. They can be used to customize, of course, your lever belt. They are literally the sickest pump covers I have ever seen. Just get true to size because they're a baggy, oversized fit. So when you get it, it will fit you perfectly. And if you purchase all three at checkout, there'll be an automatic discount that is added for the fact that you got the bundle of the entire drop. Now, back to the video. I have experienced side effects such as temperament changes. I wouldn't consider myself like an angry person. Like, I've never had like a super big like anger outburst or like destroyed a relationship or had like a fight with somebody because of the fact that I've been on steroids. But I definitely have noticed, and I'm going to reference this to how I feel now, just 1 week on my stack. When I start taking something and my blood toxicity levels change, automatically I notice a change in my, not paranoia, but I'm more agitated with anything. Like, if there's something happening in life, it annoys me a little bit more. Or I have an extra word to say. If I'm having like a heated conversation with somebody, I have to get the last word. When I'm the off season, when I'm on like TRT, or before when I was completely natural, I feel like I wouldn't care. Like there was so many things I would just let fly by, and like, you know, understanding that life, sometimes bad things happen, and that's completely okay. When I'm on cycle and I'm running like a high stack of sorts, I definitely lack the ability sometimes to understand that, you know, sometimes bad things in life happen, and that's completely okay, because I almost like have to get the last word in, or I feel like I need to like get my point across to somebody because it's going to frustrate me too much if I don't do that. And it's not a good like personality trait to have, especially when you are like, let's just say you're running a business, or you have a job, or you're in college and you have to maintain like a cool demeanor, you've got shit to do, like you've got to concentrate, you're in a relationship, you're trying to keep your girlfriend happy, and you need to be able to have like structured and like mature conversations and like see things from different perspectives, not just your own perspective, right? Sometimes when you are running a cycle, those very, very obvious things become a little bit less obvious, and you become a little bit more, you know what I mean? So that's one thing. Obviously, over the years, it has got increasingly better. Like I've become better at handling those emotions, dealing with those things. Like I've become especially a lot more recognizing in the fact that like when those sort of things change, I'm able to check myself a little bit easier. It's only because of my experience in it, and like acknowledging like, hey, I'm expecting this thing to happen now, and I'm able to check myself and understand that those like temperament changes are going to occur, and now I know how to deal with it. Over the last week, because of the fact that I was on a cruise for so long, like I was taking 150 milligrams of testosterone and anthate for 14 weeks. Typically, a cruise will last 8, 10, 12 weeks at a max, but I was on a considerably longer one just because of the fact that I wanted to be as healthy as possible before I started prepping, before I started implementing things again. So that was my own personal decision, and it only made me that much more susceptible and ready to consume a higher level of anabolics based on the fact that my body was more ready to receive that based on having been on such a low dose for a long time. I have definitely noticed a slight change recently. Two main things have happened. I've become a lot more focused, and I feel like that comes with its like serious aspect. As a man, when you increase your testosterone levels, you become a little bit more stern, you become a little bit more serious, and with that comes my like diligence and seriousness to wanting to complete tasks. As a structured person, as somebody that wants to achieve a lot and like do certain things in the day and hold yourself accountable for those things being achieved, obviously it's fantastic because I've become a lot more like diligent with myself, I've become a lot more focused. That has actually positively affected me. So I would say not a negative side effect, it's actually fixed my inability to be productive, because now I'm a little bit more like serious with my goals. I don't know, it's kind of weird, it's just genuinely how I feel. But one of the not so good things, which is the transverse effect, is in seriousness comes a lack of empathy. So if something really bad happens, or someone's like going through something and I need to be like emotional about that thing, I am now so much more like cutthroat in terms of like, I mean, that person just needs to be a little bit stronger, don't they? That person just needs to maybe like sort their life out, or just be a little bit more like strong-minded, strong-hearted. Obviously, the better thing to do would be that person's shoulders to cry on. Be like, you know what, it's going to be okay, and emotionally be there for someone to fall back on. But honestly, like when recently what I've experienced is there is absolutely none of that, and that has already happened literally in 7 days. I understand this and I'm able to check this, but obviously if you were like 18 years old, if you were 19 years old, or even 20, and you had never taken a stack before, and you experienced these side effects like a lot worse than I did, it could turn you into the biggest dick ever. Like you could start to be so unempathetic, you could start to feel so much of a lack of emotion. And what that would do is, if you were making mistakes in life and you were doing bad things to people or emotionally hurting someone, and they were like, let's just say crying to you, or based on something you did to like, or said to hurt somebody, and they were like, hey, that really hurt me, you would then say to that person, well, you kind of just need to sort your life out. You kind of just need to be a little bit less emotional and be more like, you know, the person taking the stuff, which could absolutely destroy all your relationships. That could destroy your friendships, that could destroy your family relationships. You could have a girlfriend that might think you're like not the nicest person anymore. And I've seen it happen, like so many people, like so many friends that started taking stuff when I started taking stuff like 5-6 years ago, and they have completely like almost ruined their life. Like they can't concentrate on anything. Like they're not like me, like it doesn't make them more concentrated, it makes them so distracted and almost delusional, because they think that their way is the only way and they're always right, and like they can't, like you know what I'm trying to say? It can really turn you into someone that isn't the nicest person in the world. So I would highly recommend, like, if you are obviously considering doing it and it's for a competitive reason, try do a show naturally. Understand if you want to compete, how badly do you want to compete, and obviously after you've experienced the competition, then obviously come away with that and be like, you know what, I've done it naturally, I'm now ready to step it up. But learn first. I could touch on the physical side effects. Obviously, you know, you can obviously get really bad acne scarring. It can destroy your back and your face. Like, if you're prone to get spots, it can cause such bad spots, like all over your face, all over your back. I've seen some really, really graphic images of people that have taken like one cycle and their whole, like everything about their skin is destroyed. That has never happened to me. I wasn't prone to have spots when I was younger. I don't have spots now. When I start taking anabolics and have a little bit more oily skin, it doesn't like make me break out more. I'd actually consider the idea that I break out more when I'm running a lower dose and I break out less when I'm running a higher dose. I don't know why that is. I couldn't tell you, but that seemingly is what happens. And then there is the side effect of what if you have a bad injection. So my worst injection experience was actually probably at the beginning when I started taking anabolics, and it was my second ever jab, because my first one was done by a friend of mine who was local to the gym, and he was like, I'm just gonna stick it in your ass and you're gonna see how it feels. And he told me it felt like a cat scratch, and to be fair, when it's done properly, it does kind of just feel like a cat scratch. Like, it's not like a painful thing. When I did it myself, I kind of like slipped through a nerve ending and it felt like I put a butter knife in my ass. It made me feel so lightheaded. I put it in halfway, dipped out, like I dropped it on the ground, and I called him straight away. I was like, bro, my face was white. I was like going lightheaded. I was like, I can't do this. He was like, breathe. This has happened. This happens sometime, and that is the risk. Sometimes you're gonna have bad jabs. Sometimes you're gonna hit things you don't know what you're hitting, because you're putting it in places that are like big surface areas on the body, and you realistically have no idea what you're about to hit. You know, there's veins, blood, nerve endings, all that sort of stuff, but some are a lot more painful than others, and I experienced probably the worst one I've ever experienced at the start. I was like crawled up in a ball, like I felt like I was gonna be sick, and I called him and I was like, what do I do? And he was like, honestly, just breathe, drink some water, like your blood sugar levels have gone crazy right now, like your body's in panic mode, and you need to just chill for a second. And that's what I did. And then about half an hour later, I did the jab and I felt nothing, which is crazy. So there is mental side effects, there is physical side effects, there is physical side effects that you'll notice immediately, there is pain infliction on yourself, there is so many things that need to be taken seriously. Another thing I'm gonna touch on right now is obviously how I'm feeling just like 7 days having introduced the stack that I spoke about in the previous video. So right off the bat, from the pharmaceutical grade GH that I've started to implement in, I'm on 2 IUs in the morning and 2 IUs at night. I have experienced already some like swelling, like all over my body. Obviously, one thing that does happen is it like increases water retention around the body, and you massively notice like swelling in your feet and your hands. And sometimes now, it happened this morning, when I wake up and I like tense my hands, I feel like, not like they're sausage fingers, but they definitely feel like there's a lot of like sort of like water and blood like in them, and you start to notice like your hands go a little bit white. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but when I tense them and they go white, they never used to go that white. It is an effect, like pressure within them as well. Like, it is something that happens when you're on decent or higher levels of growth hormone. I'm not on high levels, like I would consider 6 IU a day or 8 IU a day higher levels, but it's definitely something you realize when you're on the good stuff, and that's obviously what we're on. Now, through the other stuff, I have noticed the pumps start to get better. I've noticed my focus during my workouts has already started to increase, and my strength numbers have also started to increase, almost to the extent that there's a slight numbing feeling when I'm training. I don't feel like the pain from the weight anymore. I feel like I can push past that and just do more already. And it's crazy because like, it's not one of these things that's like, you know, does this medicine work? If I'm taking this painkiller, does it work? Like, there's actual, like, anabolics, they're no joke. They do what they say they're gonna do, and that is why they shouldn't be taken lightly, and that is why they are so freaking serious, because if I'm also saying they do what they said they're gonna do, the side effects that are gonna happen actually will happen to you, and you could actually ruin your life. If you're not the sort of person that is susceptible or able to even take stuff, like, you should definitely go and see a doctor before you even consider putting anything in your body, because you could have a serious health implication or like something growing within your body that you don't know about, that when you start taking stuff, especially like GH, everything in the body grows. So if you have like illness or like a tumor or just something bad, that's also going to grow. So like, when I say get checked, like before you jump on, especially for any new listeners or anyone that has, you know, just received this video from being sent it, like I said at the beginning, that is potentially be thinking about taking something, just get checked. Literally, it takes like 10 minutes to book a consultation. It will take a few hours within your day, and you could have potentially saved your life. You just don't know. So yeah, that's my experience. That's when I started. That's some of the bad things I've experienced. That's what I'm experiencing now. That's how it's affected me mentally, and how it's affected like friends and people I've known mentally and physically. And yeah, it is the dark art to bodybuilding. It is something that shouldn't be taken lightly. And it is also something that I believe people should be absolutely truthful about. Like, if you're taking stuff and you're on social media or you're with your friends or your family and you're lying about it, like, first off, if you're lying to your family and something bad happens to you, you're screwed. Like, because they have no idea what's going on with you, so they need to know to have your back. Two, if you're lying to your boys at the gym and you're progressing faster than them, not only are you creating insecurities in your friends, because they're meant to be they're meant to be your boys. If you're lying to your friends, then you're a shit friend. Like, you're just not. And then if you're lying to people on social media, you're creating false expectations from the people that probably look up to you and support you, and you're not exactly being a positive influence in them, because actually you're creating insecurities in them and doing probably the opposite of what you preach that you are doing. So be honest, do not be a piece of shit. And that is pretty much everything that I wanted to talk on about the side effects topic.
Hi!
You want to be part of the video?
It was a good vlog.
Guy, how was your first anabolic journey? Sky, what side effects have you experienced? Sky, do you have any regrets about taking your natural card? We are in for the night. Geordie is just making some pasta, being an absolutely incredible girlfriend, understanding that we have gains to make before prep does begin.
I am chefing up some turkey, tomato and basil pasta with a lot of cheese.
We can eat cheese right now.
Yeah.
Also, before we end the video, I wanted to say thank you so much for 800,000 subscribers. I actually can't believe that we hit it. Only recently we had like 690k, and we've just surpassed 800,000 subscribers, so thank you so much. If you are new to the channel, welcome. We are actually going to be posting a lot more frequently as we get closer to starting prep, and especially on prep as well. I'm going to set myself a task of like uploading a lot more frequently, so there's going to be a lot more videos to watch, not just shorts. So obviously a lot of the subscribers did come from short views, so I started posting on shorts like 3 weeks ago, and it is massively helping the channel grow. But if you are here for the longer form videos, my bread and butter, and it is literally genuinely giving me the life that I have right now, and it's all thanks to you guys. So if you are new, welcome. The road to 1 million subscribers is literally like, we're fucking 80% of the way to 1 million.
Welcome to the Don Squad.
What did you just say?
Don Squad?
The freaking Don Squad. That was like an OG thing.
I'm not an OG.
Geordie's not an OG.
I've just heard
Were
it.
you a subscriber?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Like all that time ago?
Yeah, no.
You absolutely was.
No.
Yeah, you can see the smile on your face.
Dude, I didn't even know you.
Geordie subscribed before she knew me. I fucking knew it.
No, I swear.
You swear?
No,
You had no
I actually didn't.
You said you saw me
subscribe.
before.
I saw you on Alphalete, yeah.
Oh, that was why she was like, I want the athlete. When I was like more, I guess like more of a cringy YouTuber.
Wait, you're still not cringy?
I used to be a lot worse.
Hold for a second.
I used to be a lot worse, but the Don Squad was essentially like brand Don Squad. And I used to think like Don is like the leader of the mafia, and I was like, I'm the leader of the fucking Don Squad. It's so sick. I thought it was pretty cool at the time. I still think it's cool. Obviously, I'm not going to bring it back now. I'm not going to bring back the Don Squad, but nevertheless, if you are an OG and have been here since that time, I'm super grateful for you. You are an absolute OG. That's going to be it for the video. Me and Geordie are going to enjoy some pasta, maybe like watch something on Netflix. I don't know. If you did enjoy the breakdown of the side effects, and hopefully that it did shed some light on some things that you maybe didn't know or didn't know to expect, if you are considering doing that sort of thing, and maybe, hopefully, it's convinced you to maybe not go down that route and stay natty and do what I didn't do, which was stay more on the healthy side. Drop a like, turn on post notifications, subscribe if you haven't already, because it really helps the channel grow, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.